Hey guys, this is Alex, and welcome to the Two Dudes Brews and Reviews podcast. On today's episode, we're talking about Professional Rapper, the 2015 album by comedian-rapper Lil Dicky. We had just gotten back from a concert when we recorded this, so we're already a little drunk starting off, but I think it leads to one of our goofiest podcasts yet, which is only appropriate for our topic. If you like what you hear, consider subscribing to the podcast, and maybe even tell your friends about us. With that being said, we hope you enjoy the show.
Young Getter, where have we been? What have we been doing, man?
We've had a pretty busy night, to be honest.
It's just getting fucking started at this point. Let's just preface that. We got a fucking long way to go.
Yeah. So I guess we should tell everybody that we went to a concert tonight. So we're getting started a little bit later than we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
We went and saw Animal Collective in Cincinnati for free.
Ain't nothing in life free. I paid fucking $5 for goddamn whatever the fuck. What did I drink? Modelo. And I got some street tacos, so that was okay.
Those venue prices, man. I paid $7 for a platform IPA.
Dude, that guy almost gave me a fucking Bud Light. Like, that motherfucker.
Yeah, you had to like tell him
twice. I said, "Can I get a Modelo, please?" And he's like, grabbed the Bud Light. I thought it was for the people that like had stepped off to the side, like he was still grabbing their drink. And I was like, no. I need a Modelo. And he's like, oh, okay. Picked up a Michelob Ultra. I was like, no, is that for me? I was like, Modelo. He was like, so you don't want? He was like grilling me too. I was like, bro, I said Modelo. He was just like, so you don't want the Bud Light and you don't want the Michelob Ultra? I was like, no, I want the Modelo. Like, just give me the Modelo, bro.
I was standing right behind you, and I know for a fact you said Modelo.
Twice.
Yeah.
Fucking twice.
Now, I can give him some credit because it was pretty loud out there. But yeah, he was kind of giving you a hard time about that.
That line was moving super slow, and then we stepped aside, and I was like, I understand. Like, this motherfucker was taking forever to get me a fucking Modelo.
So I know it's like not the topic of the show or anything, but like you were not an Animal Collective fan or anything before we went and saw them.
No, I had very little. I had a small glimpse of what to expect. I think I listened to a few of their songs, probably listened to them once or twice, like through like 3 tracks, and I was like, okay, like I understand what I'm getting here.
Was this like recently, like to prepare for the show or something?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what you listened to?
I think I listened to a few songs off. Was that Strawberry Jam?
With the rotted fruit on the front. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's kind of a wacky one for you to get into.
It was just a few songs that were like the most popular that Spotify like has like the top 5 songs like right up front, and I just like pressed the top few.
Okay. That makes sense.
I really didn't have any time to digest them though, but like I kind of got a feel for kind of what we were going into. I had a lot of fun. Like I think there was like probably 2 or 3 songs that like didn't really click with me. And I know like you said that they were pretty much testing like new material for like a new album and stuff, and
that's what they usually do. Yeah.
But there was like some really like spacey, dreamy, atmospheric stoner rock shit that like I definitely got down with. Like there was one song that was like we were discussing while we were listening, and I'm like, there's that one song that was really tribal, like a really nice like tribal atmospheric feel to it. And then I think they played a few songs that were like kind of familiar. You named off a few while we were listening there.
I knew about 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
at the most. Like it was like literally like they probably played what 12 or 13 songs maybe.
Yeah, probably like somewhere between there. Yeah.
So it was like 4 known songs, and like the rest of it was
there were some long stuff. There were some long songs, man. Like it was pretty fun. They were getting pretty jammy. Like we were there for.
They played for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't 2 hours, but yeah. And they had like a little bit of an opener that was on for he was probably on for like 40 minutes. And they probably took like 20 minutes to set up, like once like the guy left the stage. So They probably didn't start until about 8:15 or so. I think they played till about 9:30, 9:45. It was a lot of fun though. I enjoyed a few of their songs. I want to hear a couple of them like mixed and mastered and like on a record at this, like where the volumes are.
The new stuff sounds interesting, for sure. It's a lot more like slower paced and methodical than like what I'm used to with them.
I think like during the show, I mentioned to you, I was like, they were like all like how am I going to put this? Synchronous. They were synchronous, but
yeah,
they were like hitting. They were all coming in at like a big,
like climactic, like these like big hits of drums and like everything at the same time.
They've been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Like it would, they would slow roll, and I was like, the root of the song could have been like that stoner ambient, heavy fucking reverb, and like that shit was kind of like their little. I kind of caught on to like their little flavors that they would add in, like. It would be such a chill song, and then they'd like really sneak in like a quick little
jab of intensity or something.
Yeah. So I mean, I caught on to a little bit of like their dynamic, and like I know they played some songs that they were that obviously have been out for a while. So like I was kind of referencing, and like they played some really fucking whack shit at some point. So like I kind of caught like where they were trying to weave it into like something that's a little bit more digestible, you know?
Their discography is like all over the place.
Yeah.
Like that's not even like what you saw tonight is not representative even of like what they are. This is just the new phase of the band kind of.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing a record tonight. That was mine that I picked. We're doing a Professional Rapper by your boy Lil Dicky. This is like a record from like almost 7 years ago. Well, 6 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 2015.
Like 6 years ago, just a few months ago. Came out July 31st, 2015.
And it remains the only full-length album by Lil Dicky.
I know. I'm quite confused, to be quite honest with you.
Why is that? You think he would have like followed it up by now?
Well, he did like a sophomore album, but it was like under the
brain.
Yeah, that shit was terrible.
I didn't listen to it to like prepare for the podcast or anything.
Neither. That's how forgettable it probably was.
Although Brain's featured on this album.
Honestly, the hardest feature there is.
That's what Lil Dicky says.
Really?
The outro track, the Truman.
I was gonna shout out to my brain.
Yeah, he says
that part.
He had the hardest fucking verse on the album.
He did. Brain on some other shit though. We'll get it. We'll get there. Yeah, man. So it was man, this shit's fucking dated. Like, we'll get into it, but like from 6 years ago, like I really feel the fucking age wearing and tearing on this thing pretty hard.
Yeah, a pretty short amount of time for that to happen.
It's quite interesting because I feel like 2015 is it's an interesting time before the time we live in now. Like 16 years old when this came out. I had just turned 16. Bro, I just got laid like a couple months before this, like for real, like for the first time when this came out.
I think this album is definitely like representative of like the pop rap trends at the time. Yeah. Like the stuff you'd hear on the radio. I was thinking of like those old Big Sean hit singles, like I can't remember what it was called. The ass song.
Like it's like some Jason Derulo type shit. Like a bunch of like these singer rappers, and like we'll see. Like there's fucking your man Fetty Wap, the long forgotten, eye of fucking truth. The guy with one eye. The guy probably works construction now. Like,
was he fresh off of those like really big singles at the time?
Yeah, he had like one big album, and it was just like his. Self-titled Fetty Wap.
The I Get Fly With My Baby.
Yes.
I Get High With My Baby.
Trap Queen, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I couldn't remember the name of the song.
Yeah, man. It's weird to venture down this path again. It's honestly a part of my brain I try to forget. Like, my pubes weren't really fully developed at this point in time, It's just like, you gotta kind of forget about that shit.
So this record is like kind of nostalgic for you think?
We'll get into it, but like, there's only a handful of songs where like I can actually listen to and like really enjoy at this point in my life, and then there are like other things where I'm like, this didn't age well, like it's super cringe, and like, but there are aspects of his style that I enjoy, but then there are like some of these features, man. It's like it's that are littered throughout. I'm just like, I didn't quite want to reminisce down that memory lane. It's a balancing act with this one.
I'm really glad you said that. Because I thought I was going into this and I was like about to break your heart.
No,
like, I thought you had like a love for this or something.
I'm being honest, bro. I ain't gonna fucking like. I actually had a moment today while doing the notes where I'm like listening to one of the tracks and I was like, I fucking hate this track. And I was like, that was like a subconscious thought. I'm like, okay, what do I like here? What sounds good? And I literally was just like, no, dude, don't try to fucking cater to something. I'm like, this shit fucking sucks. Like, God damn, I own that shit. Like,
there's like definitely some moments on here that I appreciate, and there's like characteristics of like Lil Dicky as an artist that I appreciate. But like overall, I don't like this album.
Sick. Let's get into it, bro. Because you got an hour and a half worth of songs to get through with me.
Well, where do we start?
Well, let's start with like the opening. This is like your introduction, man. Like it's kind of like that intro interlude track. It's Meet the Birds, which is
It's a little phone call.
Which is something I really one of the redeeming qualities of the album that I enjoy.
I agree.
The skit, like the fact that these conversations were actually happening, and like they're so comedic and like.
Yeah, usually I don't like skits. And like this is like one of those times where I felt like they were one of the highlights of the album. Like I felt like I got to know like the family dynamic with him and his mom, and like
Yes.
Who else was on the phone call? Was it
It's his dad, yeah. They mention a lot about, since this is like his freshman album, he hasn't really like made it or anything. So he's having a conversation with his parents about like, oh, he's staying here at his buddy's house, and like they're trying, they're asking him questions about like how you been, like how's LA. Their little boy has just gone off to some part of the other part of the country and like is trying to do this thing. Yeah, man, it's interesting because like he's comes from a Jewish family. This guy's like rapping, it's just like it's not really like it's so not formulaic. So it's just an interesting dynamic to play on.
I enjoy the skits quite a bit. My favorite one is actually the one where
the strippers.
Surprisingly, not. I like the one where like she's telling him to get a good night's sleep, and he's like, "Do you think Puff Daddy's mom called him to like tell him to get a good night's sleep before shows?" His mom like comes across so like likable.
Yeah, she's like a fucking mother, man. And like the dad is like interrupts the shit out of like everyone. He says something about you see the new trailer for Anchorman 2, I think. And he's like,
Which one?
Which one? There's plenty. And she's like, let him talk. It's funny. Like it's exactly how like a phone call with your middle-aged parents goes,
For some reason, I thought there was a tie-in to Anchorman, where like how like Lil Dicky is like an actor.
Yeah.
Now I was like, did he appear in the movie? Like, is that why his dad would be like asking him that? Like, hey son, I saw you in the Anchorman 2 trailer.
Yeah, his dad's just a goof. He wants to ask him about the Anchorman 2 trailer, even though like he can talk about being in LA and shit. It's just funny. Yeah, man. Let's like move in. Like we get the title track, "Professional Rapper," featuring your boy Snoop. It's kind of littered throughout, but like a lot of these songs are pretty much like stand-up routines, or like kind of like very reminds me of like Weird Al. It's
like a little like concept heavy, or like a little gimmicky, like focused on one like really specific topic.
And like this, the track is kind of meta in that sense. Like he's talking to Snoop about like it's basically like a job interview, and like that's on the cover album too. Like it's like a resume. It's funny because you're talking about Snoop Doggy Dogg. We're talking about a hard, dope ass fucking rapper here, and you've got contrasted with like Lil Dicky. That again, like his fucking name is Lil Dicky.
It's a small wiener joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's just trying to like communicate to Snoop like, yeah, I know, but like just give me a shot. It's very like meta.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I love this song.
Yeah, and there's nothing to hate about it. Like it's really, really funny.
And I think like that whole meta like commentary thing on like being a professional rapper and stuff, I kind of wish it carried out through the other tracks. Like there'd be like callbacks to like him like getting the job and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was kind of surprised that wasn't in there. But I mean, like as a standalone track, it's funny. It's got like a pretty like concise story. Sometimes storytelling tracks aren't always entertaining on like the second or third listen, but I find myself like enjoying this one each time it comes on.
There's other tracks that like do that for me as well.
Yeah.
We'll get there, but like it's really indicative of his style because his cadence in its simplest form, like it's a pretty simple instrumental, same tempo the whole time, and like it's like background noise to this conversation we're having over like.
Yeah,
but it's rap.
You don't even notice the instrumental. Yeah,
like you get so like caught up in it. Like it's like you forget you're in a song. It's like listening to a podcast. Like you're just listening to a conversation happening. It's really catchy and comedic. And like before you know it, like it's fucking over and you're like, holy shit, that was a song, Like it's just it's interesting.
It maintains your attention for about 8 minutes or so. I mean, this is a pretty long beginning track. Is that how long it is?
I think it's about 6 minutes long.
Oh, why did I think it was longer than that?
The Pillow Talking's like 8 or 9, I think.
It's almost 11.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to point out is Juanita. Like at the beginning of the track,
the secretary. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, he's just in that door down there. He'll be right with you. And like at the end of the song, after like Snoop gives him the job, Juanita offers like, she's bringing in weed. She's like, you anything else? Bottle of water, tea, head. And he's like, what? And He's like, what kind of tea do you have? And she's like, Earl Grey, green tea, and
raspberry.
And he's like, actually, let me get some head. And she's like, I know you little dirty ass want some head. And I'm like, that's just fucking hilarious. Like, and honest to God, I wouldn't be surprised if some rappers' secretaries suck their fucking dicks. Like, I'm not like,
it's like, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying it happens to everyone, but like, let's just be honest here. Like, some of these men, like, they got some fucking power, and that may be just something that they can get on demand. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel like after listening to this track, I believe that Juanita needs a raise.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is a great track, dude. And I feel like there's a ton of effort put into like the dialogue, like the bouncing back between them.
Yes.
Snoop Dogg, I think I read the other day, has been featured on like over 1,000 songs in his career.
Really?
And usually when you hear him on like a feature, he's like, what do they call it? Autopilot.
Yeah.
Doesn't give a shit. He's collecting his paycheck. Mm-hmm. He showed up on this song.
Yeah, you feel like he's really... It's almost like they're acting in a way. Like, you can tell, like, Snoop is like... Here, for example, he'll be like, man, what you mean? Like, he'll really, like, lean into the whole conversation that they're having. Like, it's really different.
His comments about Dicky's, like, chorus being... quote unquote dog shit.
Yeah,
like real
hook.
Funny.
He's like, make a hook for this track.
Like, man, that was straight garbage.
Yeah. The other thing is like Lil Dicky, he'll be like, he's so self-aware, you know, like he knows he's fucking dicking around half the time. It's nice to see like him not take himself so seriously. Like, and it's honestly a nice, here we go. New Drake record came out, right?
Yeah.
And like
Certified Lover Boy.
Certified dog shit. Even though it may be fucking like silly and stupid, like at least fucking Lil Dicky, Dave Bird isn't like putting on some fucking facade like he's some fucking hard motherfucker, you know? It's nice to just be like, this guy's literally like self-deprecating the whole fucking time, and it's like, it's just nice to see like someone not give a shit.
Now I will say that I think this is like, in my opinion, the peak of the album. There's other songs I like. I think this is like the peak of like creativity and stuff. Yeah. I think it's like a little, there's tracks here and there, but the track after this, Who Knew? I feel like this one goes like in one ear and out the other for me.
Oh, there's plenty like that. Repetitive hook.
It doesn't have that same like charismatic flavor. Like it feels like the verses don't have that much personality on this one. Mm-hmm. Like it could have been rapped by anybody.
Most of the song is like it's a freestyle, right? And then it's like interrupted with a hook. I mean, there are like some bars that are like really enjoyable and funny, but compared to what we just listened to, doesn't have like that same flavor, you know? Like it kind of gets lost, especially like this song kind of has like a really fast cadence. You know, he's rapping pretty fast. Like you don't really get a chance to really sit and like be like, oh, that was fucking hilarious. Like kind of, a little too fast, you know?
Are there any like bars that stand out to you on this one? Because like for me, I didn't feel like he like put that comedic style to it really. Like maybe like a couple one-liners here and there.
They about to silhouette my nuts on American flags.
See, that one's all right.
But there's like, I'm kind of a rap rendition of a fry and a rap. Just try it as that. You rappers, Rebel Wilson's vagina, you stank.
Okay, I didn't catch that one.
Which is funny. She actually like lost a bunch of weight and is like, dude, and then all the other, you know, fat ladies were like, what the fuck? Why'd you lose all the weight? No.
Did she Jonah Hill upgrade?
Did like the Adele Jonah Hill like lose a bunch of weight?
There
like,
we go.
I remember watching a Jonah Hill interview, and like one of the reporters was like, "Do you still feel like that fat guy in Hollywood?"
Isn't he like, why would you say that?
He was like, I'm just gonna pretend like you didn't ask that. It's like,
that's disrespectful as fuck, dude.
People are fucking wild. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a few in here. Like, there's a few lines that are just like, they're fun. Something about like just that bland ass instrumental is really rough and like really buries any sort of flavor like that, like this song could have had.
It kind of reminds me of something that you would find on YouTube in like 2012. If you typed in like trap beat for free, like a royalty free trap beat. But I will say that it goes up from here on the next track, Let Me Freak.
Here we go.
I like this song too.
This is what you want, right? This is like, we'll talk about it, but like I feel like there's plenty of tracks you could cut, you know? Like give me Professional Rapper, skip Who Knew, Let Me Freak, plus the outro, White Crime even. I'll cut Molly, motherfucker. I fucking hate that song. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like, Let Me Freak is fucking hilarious. Like, we're talking about literally just trying to get laid, bro. Like, you just want to get laid. And he takes it to the next level. He's talking about later in life. He says 2074. He's an old fucking man. He just wants to get some puss, you know? It's just like, he's a fucking man at heart. He just wants a vagina.
Yeah, well, his dick looks like tinfoil, and her tits look like hard-boiled eggs. This track is funny, dude. I think he works best when he does these like storytelling tracks like this. Like, stays really focused on one topic. It doesn't hurt that the tune itself is good.
Yeah.
Like, the chorus is pretty catchy.
I don't give a damn what you're playing right now. This is me coming at you as a man right now. Let me freak, bro.
I even found myself like singing the chorus in my head a few times, like when I wasn't actively listening to the record.
And it's like, gotcha, bitch. Here's one thing we'll talk about is this album might not be able to be made nowadays.
You think so?
In the current climate we live in, the song, bro, would be outrageous.
Maybe, yeah.
People will be like, you can't say that about women.
You're about to get canceled, bro.
I don't give a fuck. I ain't gonna get fucking canceled. There's like 3 people that listen to this shit. It's all right. Before we hop back in this track, what are we drinking on, man?
It is Orange Agave Blonde by Municipal Brewworks. I don't think I've ever had a beer by them before, but they are out of Hamilton, Ohio.
Yeah, shit's good. It's really refreshing, though. It's not super dense.
I think I needed that after like going to the concert tonight.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to come in here and drink a bunch of Le Fin du Monde, even though...
Oh, fuck no.
I'm always down for Le Fin du Monde. It just wouldn't fit.
Even though I almost was trying to get you to grab the hazelnuts beer earlier. Like, it was like the stout with the coffee and stuff. And like, looking back now, I'm glad we didn't do that.
We'd be put to sleep. That shit's probably so heavy.
And I was only doing that because like hazelnuts, Lil Dicky.
You're a thematic man.
There's a loose tie-in.
You really... It might have been a stretch, but it's okay. We like to stretch around here. Yeah, man. Do you have any favorite bars from this track?
Yeah, I do, actually. It's like the second chorus, or like pre-chorus, I guess. Because the second verse is all about like how him and this girl ended up together. And like they're kind of having like a discussion about her work or something. And like it kind of turns into a conversation where he's like, oh, like, that's your boss? Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I don't really get the dynamic between you guys. And I feel like I've had this conversation with like my wife before or something.
You're like you're trying to empathize, and they're like, "No, that's not right." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I'm trying to like understand."
They're talking about people that you don't know, but I was like laughing about that. But the pre-chorus where he says, "Look, I just turned off The Departed for a movie about a bee. I've been cutting back on farting, tweeting, arguing, and weed." Love it.
He says, I think at the end of that, he says, Yesterday I wore a cardigan at dinner with your sweet and supportive aunt during the 4th quarter of the Eagles. Now reward it. Which is okay. Look, let's be realistic here. Nothing about sex is ever free. Okay, this might be a little bit of a deep concept for this podcast, but look, ain't nothing in life free. Okay, I had to pay for parking tonight at a free concert. I had to pay for beers. I had to pay for food. I had to pay.
Yeah, what the hell is up with that, bro?
The tax on my body. My hips were fucking hurting like a childbearing woman. Like, I was hurting, okay? There ain't nothing in life free. My ears, my hearing is worse. I had to pay the tax for that, okay? All right, now let's wrap this back into sex, okay? You gotta go out. You gotta get something to eat. You gotta drive. You gotta pay for gas. You gotta go to the movie. You know, you gotta do these things. You gotta be sweet and patient and nice. And in the back of your head, you're like, 2 more hours, 1 more hour, half hour. Like, I'm gonna get laid. There's some men out there that don't get that, and I'm willing to pay the price for some fucking pussy. That's fine. Okay, that's just real fucking talk. And it's the same thing for women. This man's got to show me. Like, I need to be invested in. That's what date night is, okay? You work all fucking week to spend the money to get some ass. That's the American fucking dream right there, okay? And this song is the epitome of getting laid. Does that make sense?
What a speech. I feel like there should have been cameras here. You were so, like, passionate about that.
I'm about to run for president. I don't know if you know that.
I think I might vote for you.
I think it's... Okay, moving on. All right, so One of my favorite parts is like he's talking about how fucking old he is, and like he's taking Viagra. He's taking like 5 pills of Viagra, and he's like, he says, "And good God, that's a little erection. It'll work though. Now I've got to find the hoe. I'm pretty much blind at this point. I don't know if I mentioned that yet." Like, yeah, he's just
his comments about I might die soon kind of had me weak too.
He's like, all the blood's in my dick. I'm probably gonna die soon. I don't even know if you're comprehending what I'm saying, but please acknowledge how you hear me. Like, oh man, it's fucking funny, man. Like, when this shit comes on, like, I'm here for it. And actually, Elizabeth played some of these songs for her over the last few weeks, and she's like been listening to some of these tracks. Yeah, I think it's fucking hilarious.
Now, like, I like this song, dude, but one thing it didn't need is an extended 4 minutes of whatever this outro is.
This like auto-tune fucking cry for pussy.
Yeah. What the fuck, man?
I don't know. I kind of like that it's tacked on, to be quite honest with you, but I will skip it if I'm not feeling it.
It could have been shorter. I don't know. Like, at least
it's like another 4 minutes. Yeah. Like, it's very long. Yeah. It's a little unnecessary. It's a little overkill. It's like when a comedian like does a bit for too long and like won't let it go,
exactly.
You know? Like, yeah. Moving on. All right. Some white crime, bro. We did all kinds of white crime tonight. I pissed in a parking garage. Yeah, I fucking pissed in a parking garage, bro. Felt like a badass.
I can't decide if I like this song or not.
Okay, I'll tell you what I do like then. I like the instrumental a lot.
Do you?
Because it kind of reminds me of like, it's got like a weird like ghostly ring, like that real bendy like synthesizer sound. You know what I'm talking about?
I think it's like easily the most minimal thing, like instrumentally, that's been on the record like to this point. So I kind of see where you're coming from. For me, like, I love the concept of the song. Like, he's like talking about like the examples of white crime. Yeah, jaywalking, bringing candy into the movie theater,
getting Coke with a water cup,
stealing Wi-Fi. Somewhat funny stuff, a little bit. The tune itself, nothing about the song that grabs me or like makes me laugh that much, really. Like, it's not bad. It's not one of the ones that I like find offensive on this album. Like, it's kind of one that just plays and I'm like, I kind of like this, I think.
Maybe the instrumental's a little too aggressive for the track, maybe. Like, maybe you're not really catching like the lyrics that much. I mean, to me, I kind of feel that way because I guess it's kind of his spin on like, you know, the most hard shit he does, you know, like it's kind of him joking around. Like, people talk about fucking rappers used to talk about fucking killing people and fucking slinging drugs around, and like, he's a white fucking dude, white as fuck. I mean, I kind of enjoyed that aspect. Like, this is kind of his jab at that. But like, yeah, the instrumental, like, kind of Halloween themed,
little like sinister.
Yeah.
I do like the lines about he's got 6 ounces of face wash on his like flight.
Yeah.
And I think like TSA only allows 4.
Yeah, probably.
He's got 2 whole more ounces, bro.
Will I help in an emergency? Yeah, sure. Exit row, fingers straight crossed. Like, just silly shit, man. And like, I knew coming into this fucking podcast that like, there are some things about the record that just doesn't hold up, you know? This is one of those tracks where it's just like, you can kind of forget that it's there. It's not as impactful as like maybe a professional rapper is, or like, Let Me Freak, or we'll get to like Pillow Talking and shit like that. Like, there's just some tracks that just really don't really bring in all the aspects of his best tracks, you know?
I like the line where he says, "I was 17 when I first tried a Guinness." Oh no, I'll get to that. I don't like that line. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. This one sticks out like a fucking sore thumb, dude. Maybe I know what he was going for, but he didn't give enough context or something.
What about the 18?
He says, "And back when I was 18, statutory raping this little hoe, even though we was dating." He could have said she was 17 and I was 18 or something.
Yes.
You know, like, hey, we're just like 3 months apart or something like that. Like,
but he was statutory raping.
The way he says that line and just moves on, like, it has me going, it's one of those like, whoa, wait, what? What the fuck? Hold on, I need some more context on this.
Again, you can't make this record nowadays, okay? We're going to resurface this shit and he's going to get fucking canceled.
Yeah. I mean, like, some stuff doesn't bother me, you know? Like, you can say offensive stuff. But this line right here was like, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, it
kind of feels a little predatory. Like, it's not him being...
You don't say.
Quite literally. Like, it's not like self-deprecating in any way. So it's like kind of like awkward, you know, kind of weird feeling. It's like, here we go, like a stand-up comic. Like some of the best stand-up comics are like the most self-degrading, you know, like make fun of themselves or like kind of tie shit back into themselves. That way, like you feel like you can laugh with them instead of laughing at something. When a comic just feels like they have like some weird power grab kind of thing.
They're like putting themselves on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Like,
or just like when a joke doesn't really like, it doesn't come off as a joke. It just comes off of like, I don't think you can say that. Like it doesn't work. Dude, I've been listening to a lot of stand-up comedy lately. So like, that's all I've been thinking about.
well, you made a comment earlier when we were at the concert saying that you would love to go to a stand-up show.
Yes. You know, I listen to the Kill Tony podcast.
Yeah, you showed me some of that.
Every fucking Monday. I'm at the point where like I can start recognizing like, oh, this ain't gonna work. You know, like no one laughs or like, oh, this is fucking hilarious. Like you want to feel like you're welcome in a joke. Like there are just some people that make jokes that are just like, you're not really hitting a punchline here. You're kind of just saying something that's like kind of fucked up and like, we don't like you now. And then they're struggling the whole time to like catch back up with the crowd. Super weird.
You have to like win them back in your favor.
Mm-hmm. And like at that point, once you start bombing, bro, it's hard to recover.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough. You got to start off strong. And that's just one of those songs where it's like, that line specifically, it's like, whoa. Like you could zone out on this song, hear that line, you're like, what? Yeah, it's just fucking weird, man. Bro, can we talk about like the worst song on this fucking record?
Molly?
I hate this song so fucking much.
I don't like this one either.
I know it's like supposed to be like kind of a heartfelt song, but bro, like no. Like get this shit out of my face.
I think like the biggest offender about it is like it dodoesn't fit in
with the rest of the record, dude.
Not at all. And like because of that, the like sentimental kind of vibe that's going for comes across like really like ingenuine. Like it just
exactly. It kind of feels like fake.
And like it has like honestly it has one of the best instrumentals on the album. Mm-hmm. Like the little like the plucking of I don't know what it is, like a xylophone, which I guess wouldn't be plucking. It's like a sappy love song with a really overblown chorus. I don't know how you feel about Brendan Urie. I can't stand him.
Me neither.
I was never a fan of Panic at the Disco when they were like at their height, really.
Really?
And I mean, like a couple songs, maybe some stuff off of like Pretty Odd, because that album was like,
like
Beatles worship in a way. Other than that, never been a fan of them.
I definitely haven't been a fan of him in the last like their more recent shit that they put out. It's been a while. I haven't even followed them in forever.
His transition into like solo guy pop stuff is like really he just always sounds like he's like showing off, but like not in a good way with his voice.
Sounds like a little bit of a sleazy egomaniac. Yeah, I can't fucking stand that. I want to hear like him in a band maybe. Like I don't think he belongs on this track even. Like I think not at all. I think there was a way to work around it. And I know like this was probably like his way of like trying to expand the album's reach and stuff, but I really, really don't enjoy this track. I always skip it. Always.
It's supposed to be like the de facto single, maybe.
Yeah.
But it reminds me a whole lot of like what Eminem does when like he'll like cop like Pink or Rihanna to do a chorus for one of his songs, and he'll do like that "Love the Way You Lie." Like, I'm going to do a fake sentimental verse with, like, a really overblown, like, fucking big pop chorus. Dude, it's one of my least favorite sounds in hip-hop, for real.
Yeah. Fuck, you're right. I didn't really connect the two. Yeah, Eminem, like... I'm gonna tie this bitch in the motherfucking house and burn it down. Like, what? And then it's like...
And it gets real sweet. Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I'm gonna pass. Yeah. It's so aggressive, bro. Like, don't make any sense. Oh, man.
And, like, as far as, like, the verses go on this song, I feel like there's not any bars that stick out to me. Like, I mean, it's not supposed to be a funny song, but, like, the fake, insincere kind of, like, vibe that it has, like, makes the lyrics not stick out to me either.
We think of him like this fucking goofball. Like, I don't want to hear you try to be serious now, you know? Like, I want to hear some funny shit. And, like, this being sentimental, it doesn't fit. Like, maybe it would have been better as, like, a single or something, you know? Like, this could be a
like
track.
Detached from the album or something.
Exactly.
Because he does have, like, a semi-serious song later on in the record that I really like. It doesn't come across as insincere. And I know we'll get to that. It's not that far away.
No. It just doesn't work in the context of the album, at least, especially when you listen to it like track by track. It's like the only thing I can compare this to would maybe be like personality, but personality is actually like it's comedic, but also melodic. Obviously T-Pain's on it and like that helps, but like it just doesn't really like have that flavor that you want. Like him being so serious, like it doesn't work for the branding that he's already created for himself so far.
It doesn't help that only 2 tracks ago he was on Let Me Freak. He was talking about like having dementia and fucking an old woman, you know, like,
or like you make this a single, like you just don't weave it in. You don't fucking believe his sincerity, man, just because it's just so detached from what we're used to so far. What did you think about the next track?
I think this is one of the ones I like.
Really?
Yeah. I think like the bare bones kind of approach to it. It doesn't feel like a song. It feels more like a cipher.
Well,
is it his freshman freestyle cipher? Just recorded.
I actually heard this prior to the record coming out. He was on Sway in the morning and did a freestyle on radio live, and it is this track.
Okay. Is it with like a different instrumental?
Yes.
Okay.
This came out like a month before the record came out. Piss break. We just had like a big fucking glitch. That's twice that's happened now.
Well, we just lost about like 20 minutes of audio, maybe?
Yeah, we were talking about bruh, and it cut off. God damn it, man.
Damn, the Hannibal.
Damn, I had such a good fucking rant there. God damn it.
We can give like the briefest of overviews if you want to. We like the Hannibal interlude. Save That Money is like a decent concept, but like the Fetty Wap feature like kind of dates it real bad.
Well, you liked Oh Well. It was one of your favorite tracks, and I was glad you liked it because it's also one of my favorite tracks.
The jazzy kind of vibe that has going for it. Maybe not jazzy.
Yeah, it's got like a. We were talking about it before it got cut, but like the instrumental has like staying power. Like it hasn't dated like some of the tracks on the record. It's like nice. We were talking about how instrumentals like Pound Cake, you know, from Drake and stuff, like that instrumental kind of has like, I mean, you know what it's from because it's kind of so recognizable, but like it has like staying power. It's not like super trendy. I was drawing comparisons on like Drake again, but like Forever, those 2008, late 2000s, like horns, like just like basketball horns, like bah, 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 you know, like just like these weird
it's dated so
like
bad
stadium anthems and stuff like that, like hip hop and pop had at the time. Like it's a really good track, and unfortunately like one of my favorite things I've ever said on this podcast got cut off, but we're talking about how Lil Dicky in this track is just talking about how like he doesn't really feel like he's amounting to anything like that really means anything, even though like he's living the dream and stuff, but like he's more worried about his cell phone, basketball, LeBron than he is with like
world issues.
Yeah, like real politics and like things that quote unquote like matter like to the world and stuff that are more serious. And like we were kind of just discussing about how like I think a lot of people feel that way. We both were discussing that like how I've checked out of like almost all social media. I have like a Snapchat and stuff, but I just keep that for like messaging and stuff. But like it's nice to check out. I would say like politically, like I don't vote. Like that's my right. I don't want to vote, so I don't. And it's because I have my own opinions, but I'm on team in between, you know?
That was a good summary of your speech because I feel like I can't go back on like what I said during that segment. But yes, I do like that track a whole lot. The whole personal feel is a lot more genuine than what we got on tracks like Molly. Yeah, it's like one of the rare moments where I feel like you get to kind of know him.
Well, we were talking about earlier, but it felt like some rappers put on like a facade. His comedy stuff is kind of a facade. And this is kind of him like pulling back the curtains a little bit and like showing you like the underworks of like, you know, how he kind of really thinks about some, you know, some of the things that he does and like cares about. Nice little comparison between the two. We can move on though to the old fucking T-Pain.
Personality.
Mm-hmm. I welcome this track.
I think the song's okay.
Yes, it is okay, but I'm always happy to see T-Pain. I'm never mad when I hear T-Pain. He's like that generation I was talking about earlier with like the horns and shit, like from that late 2000s, but I'm like, yeah, T-Pain's cool as fuck though. Like he's like the Travis Scott of that era. He was like a little bit different and like had that way of like setting himself apart from like other hip-hop artists.
I remember when he first came out, I thought he was like the death of like fucking hip-hop, dude.
That's hilarious.
And like I've come around on him, like I like him a lot better, but like the way that like I look back on it historically, I think about songs like Fell in Love with a Stripper or
I'm in love with a stripper.
fucking
She moves her body like a cycle.
Money in the Bank, My Mansion in Wisconsin.
Let me buy you a drink.
Let me buy you a drink.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Those songs sound like classics now, kind of. Like, it's like not a sound that I liked back then, but I mean, like,
that's like some club shit that they play now, and everybody's like, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's like playing like Roses by Outkast in somewhere public.
God.
Like, everybody is going to be on board
Yes.
when you play this fucking song. Yeah, I can't disagree with you. Anytime I hear T-Pain somewhere now, I'm like, yeah,
Nice.
okay. He kind of had like a redemption arc when he did. Are you familiar with like the Tiny Desk concerts they do?
It's
on, like,
so fucking beautiful. His voice is amazing, and like you never got to hear that shit, man. Like it's really, really nice to just hear him fucking sing.
he did that performance, and everybody all of a sudden was like, "Oh shit.
T-Pain can sing. It's not all fucking auto-tune."
Yeah."
And he's talked about it like he's like, I just did auto-tune to just like set myself apart.
This track sticks out to me because of like the horns. It's like one of the only tracks that like implement horns on them like that. And it is like a little dated in a way, but like it's kind of like a breath of fresh air for me, like in the context of the album itself.
Like this maybe is like a little bit more of a fitting pop instrumental for him, you know, compared to like something like Molly. God, we're dogging on that fucking track.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
Or like Save That Money. Those were like trying too hard. This one's a little bit more like reeled back, like when it comes to
Digestible.
like that pop kind of approach.
And like it's still funny. They're talking about getting pussy with their personalities. Like that is the fucking line. Like they're talking about like I ain't the fucking best looking dude. I'm not buff. Like I don't got a shit ton of fucking cash to throw around. But like we're getting like getting pussy with our personalities. Like having bitches emotionally invested. They really becoming like like it's just fucking it's fucking raw, man. Like it's funny as fuck.
Even the chorus is, I ain't even strong like that. So average. I ain't even tall like that. I'm an average dude. But I'll make you fall in love with me because I'm going to be a little bit likable.
Like charismatic and yeah.
He's talking about like going to the zoo. I'm going to go to the zoo and be like really clever and like talk to you. Like it's like kind of a funny. It's like the song itself sounds really confident. It's like an ego boosting song, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's kind of like, yeah, I ain't nothing.
I'll still get laid though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Although there's another line in the song, kind of like the statutory rape
I
line
missed that
from
one.
earlier.
Jesus Christ.
It's, I plant seeds, I'm a Mexicano gardener.
That one didn't age well.
No. I don't think it was aged well in 2015 when this came out.
Christ Jesus. I'm going to take you to the zoo and be cordial and witty. I'm going to tell you hella stories and be mindful. Bet you get a little horny like an infant rhino. Like, so fucking silly, dude. Oh, you did your hair? Little Dicky, pay attention.
I was about to call it that line.
Like, oh, you getting scared? What's the root of all this tension? He's got that good beta male energy, you know?
And if you tired, won't initiate the sex, it's fine.
Compared to Let Me Freak, bro, that ain't making a lot of sense, but yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to see T-Pain. Fuck it. It's fucking T-Pain. Dude, we lost like 20 minutes of audio. That's fucking hilarious. It happens even when we're farther down the line compared to where we used to be.
It's showbiz, dog.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. So, pillow talking, bro.
I can't decide if this is one of the best or worst tracks.
Is it because you're vegan?
No.
And you don't like pepperoni pizza?
I found that part entertaining, actually. I think the first 2 minutes of this track might be one of the worst things I've ever heard.
You think so? Damn, that's a statement. This is one of my favorites.
Well, the first 2 minutes.
Okay, all right, I'm with you. I can see what you're talking about because it does start off like really weird and clunky. It's like, hey, damn, like that shit's weird.
I just got done pillow talking with a bitch. Yeah, dude, it's awkward and like the beat where it sounds like it's like a percussive element being like reverberated.
Yes,
really hard. It doesn't really get into the thick of what the track is for a while. Like it feels like he's like dicking around.
Yeah,
for like the first 2 minutes, maybe.
It's like hard to start this track, though. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Like if you think about it, it's probably hard to start.
It plays off the awkwardness of like what that situation might be like, but like those first 2 minutes aren't fun to listen to for me. But when like the conversation with him and the girl gets going, it quickly becomes one of the most comedic parts of the album. I think it really got me during the part where he says, "Do you fuck with the war?"
Yeah.
That's when like that's
when it starts.
The story basically starts. Yes.
Yeah, you gotta get some context in there. He's like, it's like a stand-up comedy routine. You know, he's planting the seeds for the story, and then we're gonna go along for the ride. And I'm gonna have you fucking laughing later on. And he does callbacks in this fucking song.
Yes, he does.
So, like, did you have a favorite part of the song?
I mean, really, the whole
apples to oranges.
Yes, apples to oranges.
I can't wait. We gotta listen to this, dude.
His inflection on this track is like kind of funny at times.
It's funny because he plays the girl as well.
He kind of comes across like a dick, but like in a way that I'm kind of like understanding what he's trying. He's like trying to have a philosophical conversation with this girl, and like they're not vibing. Her brother is like an army man, and like he tries to bring it into like, well, what if the aliens came down? The army had to fight the aliens, and she's like, I don't know. Like, but he's like too far on his tangent. Like he can't stop, and it becomes like a conversation about religion. That stuff is so funny, dude.
Yes.
And then it like spins off to like he's trying to derail the conversation or like distract and go, well, never mind, let's order pizza. But like even that turns into an argument.
Yes.
And like I'm like vegan and stuff, but like the whole like him arguing against her vegetarianism is like really funny because she comes across as like a hypocrite, kind of like.
Because she got a leather bag, bro.
Yeah, like it's fine when you're like eating it, but not when you're wearing it.
Funny,
funny stuff.
He's like, girl, like, we're smarter than them. Like, that's your God at work, bitch. Like, it's like, if I threw you outside and there was a pack of wolves, they would eat you and your titties. And like, we were talking about that at work the other night. Yeah. I said, I don't want to talk about this too much, but like, you know how they talk about eating the titties with the wolves? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, bro, like some animals eat you by the dick first, so you can't like run away and shit. Like,
see, I thought these lines were like shock value type stuff, but no.
Yeah, they'll fucking eat you alive, bro. Like, they don't give a fuck. That's just what happens. Like, we've developed a society where we don't have to worry about that shit anymore.
We get these like little interjections by like the brain. Some of them are a little funny where like he's like, what about Pangea? And she's like, let's just change the subject. And the brain comes in and she's like, this bitch don't even know about Pangea.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
That shit's funny as fuck. No, this shit has me laughing. Like, every time I hear it, I'm like, I know it's coming, but like, it's still fucking funny when I hear it. Actually, the lady likes this track a lot. When we were riding back from WEBN, she brought her AirPods with them in the car and stuff, and like, her parents drove us around like we were fucking 14, and it was nice. But so, you know, she was listening to this track, and it was so funny. Because I was like quoting it, no one else could hear it besides me, and I was like, "Do you fuck with the war?" I kept saying that, and everybody, like, her brother was sitting next to me, like, "What?" And I go, "Do you fuck with the war?"
Like those first 2 minutes for me might be really rough, but like the rest of the track kind of plays out in a satisfying manner.
You forget about it by the time it's over, like the way the track started.
Yeah,
like you just went along for that ride.
I think it begins and ends a little rough. Like, especially with like the end where it's like just the brain has to shit. Like, I like don't really care at that point anymore. Like, oh my God, this has been going on for 11 minutes.
Oh my God, it is so fucking long. God, you don't even realize it. The brain, he might have overdone it at the end.
It wasn't as like clever as the other stuff.
I'm not going to lie to you. Like, this is some shit this is how I would act in said situation.
I could see it, yeah. It's not an impossibility to
100%.
me. 100%. Classic male pregame.
Worst fucking track on the actual record.
No, what?
Do you like this track?
I think this is one of the best ones. Now, I think like I hate the chorus.
AKA, yes, I hate the chorus.
The chorus is horrible.
Bro, chorus is like, it's the fucking chorus. It better be good or get the fuck out. Like, no.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And it sounds super out of place. Like this
classic male pregame.
God. I don't know who like Nikisha Michelle is.
Didn't like it.
Like it sounds like way too proper. This song doesn't even need a chorus, in my opinion.
No.
Like I think the story concept works out just fine.
Like you could have titled the track "Classic Male Pregame" and just like not done the chorus, like we would have caught on, you know?
Because I think the story is kind of funny on this one.
Well, yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
but I can only hear "Classic Male Pregame." Like, oh my God,
it really breaks up the momentum of the track. Me. Like the whole idea of like a bunch of guys going to a party. they're trying to work up the courage to like talk to girls. They're getting drunk beforehand, but like the plans fall apart, and like it turns out to like they all get too drunk and high, and they're watching Shawshank Redemption and playing Guitar Hero instead. That's funny to me.
Yes. But god damn, I cannot get over the fucking chorus, dude. It really wrecks me.
It derails the song for sure. But I think it's like one of those examples of like his conceptual like flair kind of shines on this one. It's just like he doesn't need to be like slipping in these like pop.
You don't have to like cater. Like just leave it, man. It's a pregame masturbating in condoms. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a pretty funny track. Although, like, when the chorus comes on, my brain turns off.
You have to, like, kind of save yourself the cringe, you know? Can we talk about the antagonist real quick?
Part of me thinks this is probably one of your favorite tracks.
No. Is it one of yours?
Not really.
It's pretty standard for, like, what we would expect as far as, like, that flow go, you know? One thing I will say is I absolutely hate the antagonist, too.
So do I.
I fucking hate it. Yeah, like there's some good lines in here. This kind of feels like the more of like the go hard kind of track. Him playing that up kind of felt, I kind of lose him on that a little bit. Like I don't really think of him like that. Here we go. Lil Dicky introduces his alter ego, David Byrd, and ironically his alter ego is his real identity. Yeah, I don't know like if I like all the song. Like, I kind of think it overstays his welcome a little bit.
When I saw that it was called The Antagonist, I kind of knew that like it would be about him. Kind of like you versus yourself type situation. But I feel like the verses of the song don't really exemplify that idea that much. Kind of comes into like, he talks about like haters, which I hate when rappers talk about haters. One of my biggest pet peeves in hip hop.
I feel like we haven't got like, I feel like that's not really a big problem anymore. At least like in my vicinity of music that I enjoy, I haven't heard like an artist like talk about their haters in a long time, you know?
It feels like a pretty dated thing. Mm-hmm. Every artist has followers and like people that don't like you. Like we saw Animal Collective tonight, and like I'm sure people hate them. Do they have a song where they're like "fuck the haters"?
Exactly.
Probably not.
You're already on a platform. Just shut the fuck up. Like just shut up.
It kind of feels like a cop out in a way.
That's my fuel. Haters are my fuel, bro. Like this gets me up in the morning.
If you got haters, you're doing something right.
No, if you got haters, it means you're a fucking normal human being.
I kind of like the boom bap sort of feeling this track goes for, but I mean like it doesn't hit hard enough for me, and like the concept doesn't really tie together. It's kind of like an iffy one.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The last few tracks leading up to the outro, I really check out pretty hard. This is a lengthy fucking album. It's like an hour and a half. So like if you listen to this record all the way through, it's like
a marathon,
dude. And you're talking about 11-minute skits and shit, basically with pillow talk and stuff.
Remember when I told you I hate double albums? Like I don't care for them really.
Yeah.
Like this is technically a double album of comedy white guy rap.
Like some Weird Al shit. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Like,
I feel like I don't even want to talk about the antagonist part 2. Like I feel like there's like nothing about that track that like is worthy talking about.
I hate the instrumental so much. God, I hate it. And it's like so weird. It's just like it's got like a weird flavor. Like it just doesn't work. Like it's got some weird reverby shit going on. Like I feel like his vocals are off levels wise, like the volume and everything. Something about the antagonist too I do not want to talk about.
I mean like it feels unnecessary as a part 2 to like the first track that was like only okay to begin with. Mm-hmm. And like it doesn't really expand upon the idea of that track.
I wish he would have kind of cut some shit out like that. Yeah. Like I honestly felt like he could scrap part 2.
Maybe he was like feeling ambitious. Having like part 2 of like a song like kind of feels like a pretentious kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like maybe he was feeling overly creative.
Like he really wanted like it to hit hard for his first record and stuff. Like have like all these tracks to pull from and stuff.
It just didn't pan out like an execution like when it came to that like whole idea.
Okay. Work. Paid for that. Is there anything about this track that you enjoy?
Well, you just said that towards the end of the album that you check out a little bit. So do I. And this is a track that I literally, at this moment, can't remember anything about.
It's just kind of like one of them hype, hooky songs. Like, actually, I really, really enjoy the hook. Like, I think it's really catchy, and I really like the instrumental. Like, the percussion's really nice and everything. But it is, like, less about flow and more about, you know, how catchy it is. And, like, there's a cool, like... he's drawing comparisons between like how like if he worked like a fucking day job, like now he's like, I got bitches sucking my dick and like I could sign titties and like I'm a rapper, motherfucker, like I do shit and like, and that's cool. But like, and he's kind of calling back to like he's being comedic in ways like he's talking about like there's an outro. He's like, swear to God on the Bible, I don't even believe in the Bible though, so I made the whole thing up. Like, and he's talking about rappers sucking their own dick and shit and like,
yeah, okay.
He's like,
I remember.
Like that shit's fucking hilarious. But like the outro is actually like super fucking long and needs to be cut. He draws that out way too much, which kind of pisses me off because he kind of has like a weird what do you call it, like an effect on his voice, like, and it's just like you don't have to do that, man.
Oh, I hate the outro on this track, dude. It's more like a spoken word, like, cause like the instrumental drops out and he's like just kind of talking for a while.
That would be an exaggeration. I don't think anybody else will suck their own dick. Like, you don't have to do all that.
It's like a parental advisory that doesn't need to be there. Mm-hmm. You don't have to tell us that rappers aren't sucking their own dick.
We got it, yeah.
Like, I know it's a joke.
It's kind of unwanted in a way where like Chris Rock going, damn, where'd you learn how to like Kanye?
Yeah.
That shit. Like, shut up. We get it. We understand. That's how unwanted that shit is. Like,
exactly.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
We don't have to reminisce down that. Okay. Closing it out. Truman.
Hey, I like the song.
Me fucking too. It's like 10 minutes long, but I'm here for it. It's just the same fucking thing on loop. A physical drum kit on repeat. A little bit of like melodic. Like just very... You're just riding that fucking wave, man.
Who started this trend of like giving 10 minutes of shout outs on the end of your track?
Kanye West.
Was it Last Call by Kanye?
Last Call, yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if that was like a like homage to something that came before it.
I just think it. Well, that's the first thing that comes to mind as far as back.
Well, same here. That's like the earliest example I can think of. I know like J. Cole does it at the end of 2014.
Yes,
Forest Hills Drive.
Like, Logic's done it on one of his records. Like Truman on this record. Kendrick doesn't need to do that. He's a fucking god.
I feel like he gets his shit out like on the verses themselves, kind of.
Yeah, Kendrick don't need no extra time. He gets it out in the time allotted to him. Although, To Pimp a Butterfly, the closing track on that kind of reminds me of that in an aspect, like in a way. Like, it's kind of like that live performance. He's like, #1 rapper in the world. He's been all over the world. You know,
no,
like,
that's not the last track on.
Oh, it's not the last track?
No, you're thinking of I.
Oh, I am. Is that not the last track on To Pimp a Butterfly?
Mortal Man is the last track.
You're right. My bae. That's the track
But yes,
before.
the speech he gives at the end of fucking I is amazing. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. But I don't think anybody else before him has like done that as far as like Kanye. Like, I think he probably, College Dropout was probably like, so, dude, like, everybody's
ahead
like,
of its time.
I want to be that guy right there.
Yeah,
like,
that was a game-changing record in the mid to late 2000s. I think for like this track, the outro stuff is not as interesting as like what you hear on some other of these Kanye rip-off, or like even the Kanye track itself. Like Last Call, he's talking about like how he came up like in the beat making world, and like how he like met Jay-Z, and like nobody believed in him as a rapper. And like Lil Dicky's outro is all talking about like his tangents just kind of don't seem as meaningful on it. And like I guess it makes sense because he's like a comedic rapper, and
he's a fucking white dude that's like, he doesn't have to be a rapper. Like, he's not coming out of like some
where he's like talking about like Diddy tweeted about me, but wait, I don't think like Diddy handles his own Twitter, but like we might be talking about this in 10 years. Like, kind of feels like
smoking a cigar. Dude, like, yeah,
get on with it, dude.
Yeah, it is really long, but I think the instrumental's so catchy that I really enjoy the fuck out of it. I mean, he's talking about The Truman Show. I want to talk about that film one time on this podcast one of these days, but talking about when
I love that movie.
Truman his boat hits the wall, man. He steps out the fucking door, and like, I mean, he does close out this track in a pretty good way, like quoting that, like, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, good night, like. Yeah, like, I mean, that shit's fucking smart. Like,
yeah, I love that.
Shout out my brain. The hardest verse on the whole goddamn album. I hope my brain starts getting some feature looks. Which is funny because he's had that whole fucking Brain album. But, like, it's kind of weird. Like, whatever happened? I mean, I know he has his show, but, like, he doesn't, like, release music. I mean, I guess, like, you can only do so much, but.
I don't know, actually.
Like, it's weird. I mean, I know, like, I think his show's pretty popular. I think I think old buddy Trent likes it and stuff. I think he watches it and stuff.
Because it's like kind of like semi-autobiographical.
Yeah.
A rapper like coming up and stuff.
Kind of skittish, like has like kind of like he like plays music and stuff in the show. Like he makes music for the show. Maybe that's like just the route he was meant for, you know? Like if he wants to do like these story-based songs and like heavy concept stuff, you know, maybe like the TV direction is the best direction for him. Some stand-up comics end up having their own TV show. Conan was like a writer, and like, you know, like he has the Conan show, and you have like Letterman and Leno and Fallon, and you just, you know, that's the direction they take, you know, that's the best route for them. Even though I fucking hate Fallon. His fake ass laugh.
I can't stand Fallon, really.
Moving
Conan
on.
O'Brien, though.
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah. Conan's the best.
Maybe like the outlet of like, or the medium of television is just like better for Lil Dicky. Like maybe like that's why he has refrained from making music for so long. He just kind of like found a spark somewhere else. And like I wouldn't mind, like even though I don't really like this album, I can see the positives in it. And I think that like if he were to like magnify those positives on another album, he could make a serious album.
Yeah.
And it would probably be decent. Like his like skill, his storytelling ability and all that. He's got it. I mean, like there's no doubt that he has it. Just like this is kind of an awkward debut. And I know we like haven't really capped off the Truman song.
No, we don't have to.
But like the instrumental on this track is great. It's got like the looping, like I don't want to say gospel sample, but it's kind of similar.
Like, yeah, it's got some. Yeah,
it's something that was kind of missing on the rest of the record, and maybe that's just because I'm like a sucker for that style.
Yeah, I think. Well, we were talking about like new Little Sims record we love, jazzy, soulful, like
hip hop always sounds good on like that palette right there
because it's the fucking root of it, man. Like.
The pop stuff, dude, like some of the songs here where they have that like that heavy bass where it's like dun dun dun. I feel like I'm listening to Iggy Azalea, like that one song, Fancy.
Ugh. Oh God, why'd you say that? Ugh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I hate that song.
There's a couple tracks that have that like instrumental aesthetic going for it.
I mean, like hip hop is like the rebellious. It's like I was watching this thing on like how music comes in cycles and stuff. When you get like underground becomes mainstream, and then the mainstream breeds a rebellion, and that rebellion is the underground, and then the underground breeds mainstream. It's like, well, hip hop was like, you know, the roots of that stuff is like jazz, and like it was like against like the rock like of the time, like. And so when you hear like that root, like that hip hop started kind of the way like Kanye has like reinvented the wheel multiple times, but like I'm a sucker for that gospel shit, like because like
you can always go back to it and it sounds good.
But you got to think too, like gospel church is like a very like is a part of the culture and like black culture. Going to church and like all these men and women with powerful voices coming together to like sing gospel, and like it's like this beautiful angelic thing, and like when that shit gets woven into rap, it's because that's part of the culture, man. Like it fucking works, and like it's beautiful, and like I'm a sucker for that shit. And you don't get, it's not like it's littered throughout all over the place, but like like pop shit, like we're gonna forget about Certified Lover Boy. Like I don't remember anything from Scorpion. I can't name a fucking track. Like I can't name one. Couldn't do it.
From Scorpion?
Yeah. I mean,
I can't name anything from his like last 3 or 4 projects.
You want the bread and butter, man. You want stuff that it works. And like, you know, maybe Lil Dicky, maybe he's best suited for like TV and stuff. But like this this album was like, it was something that like I really loved when I was younger, and I'm glad to revisit it as an adult because it's such a departure from like what I used to think it was, you know? Didn't date well, like in many aspects. And like there's some shit that's really funny.
Yeah, there's like a whole lot of promise here.
Yeah. It's funny though, but he talked about like making it and shit, but like it's not like he like left some fucking crazy legacy or nothing. Yeah. So it's something. It's something we reviewed. It's not nearly as bad as fucking Jack and Jill or Suicide Squad. But it definitely is like one of the worst records we've reviewed for sure. Like this may be the Jack and Jill record, you know? Like it's not. We'll do fucking Chocolate Starfish eventually, goddammit, but we'll get there.
This album is better than Suicide Squad or Jack and Jill.
Okay. All right.
for me,
Okay.
at least. We
Good.
gave both of those a 0. This is not a 0 out of 10 record.
I give this like a 5 out of 10, like a 5 or 6.
For me, I was thinking about like a 4 to 4.5
Yeah.
maybe.
That's
like
fair as fuck.
But like with the it's not like a totally negative thing for me. Like it's like I can see the personality and the talent on a future project. I think if he was more focused, had more money, better producers, put little Dicky on like an Alchemist beat or something. Like or like an Alchemist produced project. Like he'd probably kill it. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's about where it stands for me.
I eagerly anticipate what you have in store. I've been waiting.
Piss break.
All right, now that we just did some basic math, what's the recommendation?
Okay, so my recommendation hinges on me asking you a question.
Okay.
And it's going to be a little bit of a change of format for the podcast. Ooh. And you're allowed to say no if you don't want to.
I don't consent. Sorry. Continue.
Are you comfortable with doing the idea of 2 albums by the same artist, but the runtime of these 2 albums is considerably less
that's fine.
than what this album even was?
That's fine, yeah. But like short records is fine, yeah.
So I wanted to do the antithesis of what Professional Rapper was.
Okay.
Professional Rapper was like a double album, 90 minutes, kind of goofy. My recommendation is like the complete opposite.
Okay.
And it's like 2 albums that are very, very short. They both have less than 7 tracks on them. The hints of them have actually been around you a little bit tonight in a very loose way that I don't think you would have guessed.
These Antler records?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not the Antlers.
Okay,
it's the reason I do 2 albums by this person is because their discography is so fucking vast that it'd be impossible to like even cover. So like Hospice.
By the Antlers.
What is Hospice?
I don't know. Like hospice care?
Yeah.
What is hospice care? Like where people go to die.
Yeah. And what's the shirt I'm wearing right now?
Handbook for the recently deceased.
Yes.
Am I going to die on this next podcast?
Hopefully not.
Okay. So if you're not planning my death, I think we're okay.
2021 actually marks the 5th anniversary of the death of one of my favorite rock stars of all time, David Bowie.
Oh my goodness.
And he has a very vast discography, but I've picked out 2 records, and
oh my goodness,
there's a reason why I picked them 2 together, because they have commonalities behind them. So we're going to do Station to Station, which came out in 1975, and Black Star, which came out in 2016.
Oh.
Both of these records represent the darkest times of David Bowie's life, which is another antithesis. Now, Station to Station is only 6 tracks, and Black Star is 7, but together they're less than 80 minutes.
Ooh, dude, I'm excited.
They have similarities, but they also have like the styles are very different, but it's like a desperation approached in a different way.
Oh man.
I know this is kind of far-fetched for me to recommend 2 albums at the same time.
It's okay.
But like I was trying to what is the perfect David Bowie record to recommend? And there is none.
Okay.
There's not even 2 albums.
This is like
to
a
recommend.
seed you've planted for a little while now, because I feel like the last few times we've hung out, we've kind of like briefly talked about David Bowie. It's not something I expected though for the podcast. I thought you might have been doing a movie tonight, so hell yeah. So I'm excited, dude. That's fucking awesome, because this is an artist that I need to be familiar with. This is something I haven't had a chance to explore yet. I'm very excited.
You're going to get 2 very different sides of him.
Oh, dude, I cannot wait. It's going to be so dark. I'm going to get serious and think and bitch and rant. Oh, I'm so excited.
And for me, I would recommend just taking them one at a time.
Okay.
And now that I've introduced this card, you can use it in the future,
Okay.
or you can expand upon the format. So
maybe 2 short films or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ah, hell yeah, dude. Very interesting. I'm very excited.
I was torn on this, man.
Ah, dude, David freaking Bowie. Hell yeah, dude. You got me excited, bro. Hell yeah. All right, dude. Well, we just ran for an hour and a half, about the length of the record. We had some lulls and some highs, just like the record itself. I gave it a 5 or a 6, and you gave it a 4 or a 5.
About that, yeah.
We're going to listen to 2 David Bowie records.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, sound these motherfuckers out.
Adios.